Okay? All right, number 8. Okay. Got a circle here. Those are the easiest ones to write an equation of. And you've got lines, so you have to kind of figure out where the center is right here. Now, can you see the coordinates of the center there? Right 2, down 3, so 2, -3. Okay? Now, if you count in any direction from the center, doesn't matter which direction you want to go, you can count what the radius is. Okay? If you go, maybe right is the most obvious. If you go right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the radius is 5. Any direction you go. Okay? All right, well, circle's made up of 3 ingredients, right? Okay? H is 2, K is -3, and R is 5. So you get x minus 2 squared plus y minus a -3. So it's y plus 3 equals 25. Okay, easy. You almost can't miss that one. All kinds of gimmies on this test, aren't we? All right. Number 9, the ping pong ball. It was actually expanded after the 2000 Summer Olympics. It was. It used to be 38, and they decided to make it 40 millimeters.
What kind of a difference was that making?
Well, they said you could see it better on television. But then, all the professional table tennis players were like, what's the difference? It's messing up our game. Who cares if they can see it on television? So they're all upset about it, but they're going to keep it that way for now.
So when did they change it?
Crazy story. Right after 2000.
2000.
So as soon as the Olympics were over, they're like, that's it, we're making it 40, and everybody complained, the table tennis players. It's a major brouhaha in the table tennis community. All right, now, in this ping pong ball right here, all right, it's a circle. If you do a cross section of it, if you just sliced it, it would be a circle. Okay? Of course, we know it's 3-dimensional and it's actually a sphere. So, here's what we have. 40 millimeters is listed as the, not diameter, not radius, but the what? Circumference. And the circumference comes from 2 pi r. So from that, and remember we talked about this before with the basketball, why do they always list circumferences for all sports and all the balls that you use? Because you've got to measure around, they're not going to measure through it, right? Okay? So, when you measure around, if it's bigger than 40 or less than 40, it's no good. And that's going to be 40 over 2 pi. So that gives us a 20 over pi, roughly, radius. Okay? All right, 20 over pi. So that's 20 over pi. And the center is 0, 0. Okay? You almost can't miss this one either. If the center is 0, 0, isn't that x squared plus y squared? And if it's radius squared, it would be what? 400 over pi squared. And you've got another gimme in the bag. Right there. Okay. I'll just pick a different sport, graph it on the chest for you. There you go. I think I know which one I'm going to do next. No, there are 2 I'm considering, but there's one that works out really well, so I'll give it a shot. Okay, that's a certain sport. We just play in the school, so we'll see what it might be. All right. Okay, implicit derivative. This is in the implicit form because the what's are all mixed together. X's and Y's all mixed together, okay? You can solve this for Y if you take a couple of college math classes. It's not fun. All right? I don't want to solve this for Y. Too much of a mess. Couldn't we take the derivative in its current form? Yes. Current state? Matter of fact, let's take the derivative in its current implicit state. Oh, that's an implicit derivative, right? So, the derivative of x cubed, as we all know, is 3x squared. We've been doing that one since August, right? Or maybe September. Derivative of x squared is 2x. Too easy. Here's the new trick. The derivative of y squared is 2y. Chain rule is y prime. There you go. And the derivative of y is essentially 1 and then y prime, exactly. Okay? And then the derivative of 1 is 0. There you go. Okay? Now, all you have to do, after you've done the pre-calculus, is algebra 1. Can I get y prime isolated? Okay? Even if you didn't know what y prime was in middle school, you can still get it isolated by doing the opposite to both sides. So, why don't we take these not so y primes, or should we say the gazelles in the cheetah cage, and put them over there? And get the y primes by themselves. So that'll be negative and negative. But we do have two different y primes, and I just want one,
Opposite distributed.
okay? You know what? The opposite of distributed property is to factor. And you can factor it right out. And here's a common mistake right here.
Plus one.
I took the y prime out of y prime, so I must be left with 0, but it's plus 1, right? We talked about that one before. Okay? Well, I wish you could get y prime by itself, but it's being multiplied by this pesky parentheses. You could use division. And I'll be darned if we don't have an answer. Y prime's by itself, all the x's and y's are on the other side, that is an implicit derivative. The only difference between the old derivatives we did is that when you do a slope, you have to plug in the x coordinate and the y coordinate instead of just the x coordinate. That's the big difference. That's it. All right, very nice. Okay, number 11. Let's see, this one we've got all kinds of old flashbacks to derivative world. Wish we've done some many derivatives this year. You're definitely the most advanced students in derivatives I've ever had at this point. So we've done them throughout. Catches up on that. All right, so, hey, you deserve it. Okay, you should see where those kids were in calculus last year at this time. Not even close to where you were. Just don't tell them that. Okay, now, the derivative of, I totally forgot. What, just kidding, if you're watching this. Okay, now, the derivative of cosine of y is what?
I never watched it.
It is, no.
Negative sign.
Negative sine of y
Times y prime.
times y prime. Okay, the derivative of the exponential function 2 to the y is
This in natural log of the base.
2 to the y, natural log of the base.
We'll solve the chain rule.
Chain rule is y prime. Same old rules we've been talking about, right? Okay,
Plus one of it.
y cubed is 3y squared times y prime. Natural log of x is just normal because it's just an x. So